in Hampton, Virginia, WHCS Channel 5 presents Peninsula District AAA Baseball. The Kecoughtan Warriors visiting the Bethel Bruins. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz. We welcome you on a beautiful afternoon here on May, Bob? 7th, right?
May 7th.
1991. This game videotaped here at Bethel High School at Bruin Park. And we have a matchup between the second and third place teams in the Peninsula District. This should be a good one, Bob.
Well, it really will be, Tim. If you have two teams that end up tied for the championship during the regular season, there will be no tournament because you take the top four and take two teams and go to the regionals. So it's very important if Bethel wins and Lafayette loses, Bethel and Lafayette can end up tied because Bethel plays Warwick, who has yet to win a game this year, and that's the last game of the season. So this is a very important game. The last time these two teams met, Tim, I watched the game. I went over to Kecoughtan, and they were both tied for first place at that time. And Paul London blew it open with a grand slam, ended up with 5 RBIs for the game. But it was a great game for the first 4 innings, and then he kind of blew it open. But Bethel has not been playing good at late. So it's a very important game for both teams.
The Bethel's Bruins are 13-3. They are right behind Lafayette in the Peninsula District standings, and the Kecoughtan Warriors right behind them at 12-4. We have just one official for this afternoon's game, at least for the beginning of this game, and that's our good buddy Mick McCullough, who will be behind the plate. He'll be doing first base, second base, third base, and left and right field. So
well, I'll tell you what, and he'll come back here and tell us what he did. I think Mick's going to do a great, but it's unfortunate that the other official has not shown up yet, but that doesn't mean that he will not show up while the game is in progress, but we've waited as long as we can wait.
For the Bruins, the pitching tandem will have Mike Taylor on the mound. He will be pitching to Jason Harris, the battery for the Bethel Bruins.
Let me say something about Mike. He's got a strained shoulder. He has not pitched for about 2 weeks, so we're going to kind of see what happens. If he is not throwing the ball as well as Bouchard wants him to, we'll see a relief come in real early.
And mentioning Bouchard brings to mind, we should, of course, mention the coaching staffs for these two teams. Roger Bouchard for the Bethel Bruins, assisted by Blair Wood. And for Kecoughtan, Buddy Denton, and he is assisted by Mike McCormick. So we are about ready to get this one underway. As you can tell from your picture there, that's the warm-up forthcoming for Mike Taylor of Bethel High School.
So we get the lineups, Tim. If you want to go through the lineups, maybe we can get them on the screen.
Let's see if we can get there. There we go. For the Warriors, that is actually McFadden, Ward, Neomatka, Denton, Phillips, Smizer, Wheeler, and Brown for the Kecoughtan Warriors.
Don't forget Staten.
Staten. Don't forget Staten. That's right.
And we'll see for the now that's the batting order. And of course for the Bruins we have Harney, Jordan, London, Taylor, Sillo, who is a friend of yours, Harris, Booker, Gaskell, and Smith. And that'll be the batting order when the Bruins come up to bat.
It would appear that we have all of the necessities underway here. We're just about ready to get this one going. The Bethel Bruins, of course, will be the home team. And stepping in first for the Warriors of Kecoughtan will be Mark McFadden,
who is the son of the Phoebus coach, Chuck McFadden. And it's always interesting when they play each other. It's father going against son, so to speak. So he's done a good job leading off, Tim. Done a real good job.
McFadden coming into the game batting a hefty .429 on the season, 24 hits and 56 at-bats.
He's a 3-year starter, and he's the captain of the team.
You got a little music in the background. Did you hear that?
We're just full of all kinds of things here. All right, we're getting underway.
First pitch of the ball game is a called strike one. 0-1 the count to McFadden.
We'll see an interesting thing here. Bouchard does not call any of his pitches, where Kecoughtan does call the pitches that are thrown by the pitching staff. Mike McCormick or Buddy, one of the two, will call in the pitches, but Bouchard doesn't do that.
McFadden behind on the count, 0-2 on a nice curveball from Taylor a moment ago. Taylor Wise delivers, hits sharply down the left field line, out of play. McFadden got around on that ball very nicely.
Yeah, that was inside. It jammed him a little bit, but he just pulled it also. He come around quick. That was a slower pitch than the first two that he had watched. And, of course, that'll make you jump out on it.
Mick McCullough, the umpire, wanting to...
I see he took his hat so we could get a full view of his face. You know, that's part of his philosophy. Now, we pick on Mick McCullough, but Mick does an excellent job, really does.
I don't pick on him.
I didn't say who.
0-2 the count still to Mark McFadden. Taylor delivers, and it's hit down the third baseline. Long throw is not in time as McFadden, with good speed, is able to beat it out. Well, I don't believe he would have gotten him anyway.
Yeah, the throw was just a little bit wide. That was from Jeff Jordan, who is also one of the pitchers. And he may have hurried. That ball slowed down, Tim, when it hit the infield. It really slowed down. Mark was on top of it, so he didn't get much of the ball, and it was hard. It had been a close play, and of course McCullough got to run down here and make that call.
Here's your replay. There you see he reached outside for that. When you get behind 0-2, you've got to protect the plate. The ball is fielded cleanly, and as you said, it was just a little off the mark, but I'm not sure he would have gotten him anyway.
Yeah, I don't think so either. McFadden shows pretty good speed coming.
Russell Ward is our batter. He is the center fielder for the Warriors, and Ward comes in batting .411. Nice to have your first two batters batting over 400.
Isn't that nice? And he's also a 3-year starter for the team and is also one of the captains. Tim, we've got 3 cameras, one out in right center and then one on top of each dugout, so we're going to show the fans a lot of different angles today.
Ward behind on the count, 0-1. McFadden on first, nobody out. McFadden is going on the pitch. This one again is fouled out of play.
Well, he had the hit and run. He being Buddy Denton called the hit and run that time. With the batting averages of these two players, that's a pretty good call because they're going to make contact with the ball. And of course that breaks up any chance of a double play and get a runner in scoring position.
So Taylor, coming off of that injury, is throwing nothing but strikes right now. And he is quickly ahead on Ward, 0-2. McFadden sticks this time, and his pitch is outside. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes to the batter, Russell Ward, the center fielder. Talking about your fans, you had a young man named Jason behind here. I brought my fan with me today, too.
Yeah, I saw Donna here.
Got my beautiful wife in the stands today. Just outside, 2-2 the count.
Yeah, Jason came up to me when I was over here watching Bethel play, I think it was Ferguson, and he says, "I know you. I see you on Channel 5. I said, "Oh, wow, I found my fan."
We knew there was one out there somewhere, right? 2-2 the count, nobody out. Top half of the first inning. Quick throw over to first base. Gets away from the first baseman. And McFadden will easily advance to second. He's going to make the turn. In fact, he's not even going to hesitate. He'll go all the way to third, and he'll get in safely at third base. So a 2-base steal on the bad throw from the pitcher.
Well, it's got to be a steal and an error. Or I would at least, I don't know, maybe a 2-base error because if you're the first baseman, you've got to stop that ball. You can't worry about tagging the guy. First thing you got to do is stop the ball. That's could be a costly error for the Bruins.
Count remains 2-2, but now the Warriors have a runner in scoring position. Nobody out. This one is just a little low. The count runs full to the batter, Russell Ward. Temperature at game time in the upper 70s, a light breeze coming in. It's a pitcher's breeze. It'll be a little difficult to get that ball out of here. It's particularly with the size of this ballpark. Swing and a miss on a nice curveball by Taylor.
Mike Taylor did a good job. He put that ball right where he had to strike him out. Now he brings up the third batter.
Mike Niamatka.
And what's Mike batting?
He's batting a nice, healthy .298. So, you know, it's a tough job Buddy's got here. Here's the last pitch. You saw Ward going on that outside. You couldn't see it from that angle, but it was a real nice curveball from Taylor.
Well, Mike is also a 3-year starter. All 3 of these young men, Mark McFadden, Russell Ward, and Mike Niamaka, all 3 have been 3-year starters for Buddy Denton, and Mike is also one of the captains. They have tri-captains on the team this year, and those 3 young men have done a tremendous job in leading the Kecoughtan Warriors. Here we go. That looks like Melvin Sly is running onto the field, and he is the other official. And he says, okay, I got one on third, so Mick McCullough is going to tell him where he's got to go and how many outs and all that stuff. It's nice we finally got an official in.
Yeah, it would have been a shame to have a game of this importance officiated by just one person, and there's certainly no question of Mick's ability, but you just can't be everywhere at the same time, and Mick would have been a worn out umpire by the time this game was over.
And look at the situation. You got a man batter, and you got first base open. You might have a close call at first and turn around and a close call at third or at home, and one man, it's hard to do. That's going to make it a little easier for Mick.
17 hits and 57 at-bats for Diamatka. One away, man on third. Taylor delivers, hit to deep right center. McFadden, with his good speed, will tag, and he will score with ease. So a sacrifice fly for Diamatka.
And that's what you want. You want to get that lead runner and put pressure on the Bruins right off the bat. There's 2 out now.
David Denton, the first baseman, will step in for the Warriors with nobody on base, 2 away.
David is his second year as a starter. Is just a sophomore, Tim. And watch the sacrifice fly here. But you can see David has really shed some weight and has really picked up some speed. He was, I guess he shed about 20 pounds, but he really looks good.
Big young man.
Yes, he is, for just a sophomore.
Just a growing boy, as they say.
Well, he batted .328 as a sophomore, and now he's batting .340, so if you can keep moving up each year, that's great.
All strike. Count is 1-1.
Well, right now it doesn't look like that shoulder strain is bothering Mike Taylor at all.
This one hit to the second baseman. Fielded cleanly over to first, a little low, dug out nicely for the third out. So David Denton grounds out second to first to end the inning. But the Warriors do pick up a run. They had 1 hit. Again, assuming unofficially that we give McFadden a base hit on that last play. And here's a replay of the third out of the inning. Taken nicely by the second baseman.
This field is in excellent condition, Tim, and I need to comment on the people who work on this field. Bob Stallnaker, Rory Harris, and Jerry Langley. They really keep this thing. Plus, now you might not believe this, and you can talk to your son about this, but when the ball players get done playing every day, they have a responsibility to drag this field. I'm talking about the baseball team now, the Bruins. They drag the field, they fix up the mound and the baselines. That's part of their job, is to help keep this field in condition. So when they get done practicing every day, they do that. That's part of their regime here that they do. And they're real proud of this park here at Bethel.
The battery this afternoon for the Warriors will have pitcher Brett Wheeler, and he'll be throwing to Damon Phillips, who will be catching for Kecoughtan. See if I can find some stats on Mr. Wheeler here. He has pitched 41 2/3 innings, faced 156 batters, allowed 31 hits, 13 runs. He has struck out 45 batters in 41 innings, so that's good. Allowed only 6 bases on balls, so that's, that shows real fine control to only throw 4 walks in almost 42 innings.
Yeah, it really is. He's the one that was the losing pitcher the first time that these teams met. I was talking to Bouchard earlier, and he says, let me give you a list of my injury report. Now, normally you don't get an injury report, but Jason Harris has a jam finger. Richard Sillo really messed up an ankle in the Ferguson game. I saw him go back to first, and his ankle flipped over, and that thing just puffed up like a balloon. Well, he's back. Mike Taylor, of course, strained shoulder. Kerry Ray has got an ankle and knee problem. Mark Harney has got a bad foot. So they're all playing. But at this point, you're going to play injured. You're going to play hurt.
Mark Harney will lead off for the Bruins here in the bottom half of the first inning. Mark comes in with a healthy .340 batting average. And by the way, let me take this opportunity to thank both of the coaching staffs for providing us with statistics. As we've said before, it certainly enhances the game from our point of view, and hopefully the fans enjoyed it that much more as well.
Well, Randy Shank is the statistician at Bethel, and he's the one that gave me those stuff, and I got the others from Buddy Denton. So it's
nice dig by the first baseman as Harney on the first pitch grounds out short to first. And that was a good-looking play by the first baseman to dig that ball out of the dirt.
It really was, and that was Bethel is jumping on. That was the first pitch that Mark jumped on right off.
That play, incidentally, went from McFadden at short to Denton at first. Here's your replay.
Nice dig out at first base here. You can see that. Did a great job.
Batter stepping in is Jeff Jordan, who is playing third base for the Bruins. Jeff batting .295 on the season. And a strike called.
Let me tell you something about this Bruin team, Tim. Out of the 13 players and one of the managers included, 11 of them are on the National Honor Society.
Tremendous. Way outside for a ball.
So they're just not good ball players. They also do well academically, and this is something that we always need to talk about.
Well, we mentioned that, last week when we did the girls' fast-pitch softball game, how pleasant it was to see how many of these young ladies were scholars as well as athletes, and that's always a nice combination. This ball hit foul down the first baseline, just out of play for Jordan.
And, of course, we're hoping that the young fans that are watching this, the young kids that are still, haven't made it to high school yet, that understand that you have to continue to hit the books and do well academically. It's not just all athletics.
A ball and 2 strikes the count to Jeff Jordan. I started to say just a little outside, but it's called strike 3.
That was
right on the corner.
Right on the corner.
So that'll bring up Paul London, Mr. Everything here at Bethel High School.
I tell you, Tim, and he was nominated, and I have that written down here somewhere. He was nominated for the, where do I have that?
While you're looking for that, I'm going to tell the folks
about him
that he's batting just .463 on the season, almost a 500 average. And he takes call strike as we're watching 2 real fine control pitchers. I mentioned only 6 walks in 42 in a third innings for Wheeler, and he has shown just that so far here in the first inning. He is right around that plate on every pitch. Strike 2.
Now, Paul London was nominated for the USA Today Honor Roll on his accomplishments so far in baseball this year. He's just been outstanding. And, of course, he's going to UVA on a football scholarship, but his first year he's not going to play baseball. But the years after that, he hopes to be able to play baseball.
1 ball, 2 strikes to London. 2 away here, bottom of the first. And just inside, 2-2.
He's a fine young man. His mother said he just needs to smile a little more. And I said, well, he's serious about what he's doing.
2-2 the count. Inside, full count to Paul London. London has 28 RBIs to lead the Bruins in that department, including 6 round trippers. This one is hit high.
Jammed him, hit it right off the handle, Tim.
And he pops up and out to the second baseman. So Wheeler has a good first half of the first inning as he retires the batting lineup in order. And we'll move to the second inning. Due up for the Kecoughtan Warriors will be Damon Phillips, Steve Smizer, and the pitcher, Brett Wheeler. Here you see that last out as you saw that pitch inside, a strike zone pitch nonetheless, and the easy play by the second baseman. If you just joined us, I'm Tim Cole with Bob Hintz. We are bringing you our sports schedule here for the springtime on Channel 5. This is our second of 2 baseball games. We've had the pleasure of watching Phoebus and Hampton play a little earlier a couple of weeks ago. And now we're getting, as often as we can, equal coverage throughout the Peninsula District for the Hampton City Schools.
Well, we most certainly are. We did a fast-pitch softball game the other week with, that was Kecoughtan and Phoebus. And next Monday, I believe it is, we do the Hampton and Bethel girls, which will be an interesting game.
Concession stand here at Bethel High School. Have to go over there and grab one of those homemade chocolate chip cookies.
See, your nose has picked up the scent.
So Phillips will lead off for the Warriors here. They lead 1-0.
Second year as a starter, and Damon is on the honor roll also. He's an honor roll student.
He is the catcher for Kecoughtan. He takes the ball. This one is hit foul down the third baseline.
Well out of play.
Taylor, the pitcher for Bethel, has pitched in 6 games. He has 4 complete games. He's pitched 35 2/3 innings, allowed 9 runs, 21 hits, 5 earned runs, only 5 walks in those 35 innings, and he's struck out 42. He's got a 5-0 record, and this one is hit to left field. And it's going to drop for a base hit. So the Warriors have a base runner again. If I may just finish on Taylor, he's 5-0, and he's got a .98 ERA. So Mr. Taylor with some fine-looking credentials. Here's your replay of the base hit.
And this ball was inside a little bit, and he hit it on the handle, didn't hit it flush, and therefore, had he hit it solid, Dane Booker would have probably caught that out in left field.
Steve Smizer steps in, batting .275. High inside, ball 1.
Steve is a transfer from Woodbridge High School. He's an honor roll student. This is, of course, first year with Kecoughtan. He was on Woodbridge's team last year. And he played, I think he played right field for them, or I know he was in the field for Woodbridge.
Squares around to bunt. Good sacrifice bunt, because the only play that Taylor has is at first base.
Well, that ball hit right on the base and bounced real high.
So 1 away, they advance the runner, and it brings up Morocco Brown for...
Have we seen this young man much this year?
All the time.
I tell you, as a freshman, he ended up being a starter on the baseball team. As you can watch the sacrifice, was a starter on the basketball team as a freshman, and now as a starter as a freshman. A great defensive ball player, says Coach Denton.
Swing and a miss, strike 1.
His dad, of course, teaches here at Bethel High School. He's a math teacher here at Bethel.
Phillips down at second, 1 away. Pitches high. 1-1 the count. 1 away. Warriors 1 run on 2 hits. The Bruins no runs on no hits. And a call strike.
That's where that was a nice one. I was right across the plate. Morocco thought it was a little low, but it was right at the knees.
1-2 the count.
Of course, they call him Rock, not Morocco, so we ought to call him Rock. I guess we could. We've seen him enough times this year. We could be friends.
Hit back up the middle. Over to first for the second out. The runner advances to third. And this will bring up Brett Wheeler, the pitcher.
This is his second year on the varsity, Tim. As we see the replay of that last hit by Rock Brown. He also is honor student. As a freshman, he was 4-0. He was undefeated as a pitcher as a freshman.
Swinging strike.
It's interesting, you made the point that neither one of these teams are using a DH.
No, they threw me off because we had a minor change in our batting order here. We had, originally we had scheduled Wheeler after Brown, but they came through with a different lineup. Bad hop, nice play by the shortstop just in time. A fine looking play by guess who?
Paul London, and that's a nice job, nice job.
So a ground out, 6-3, and that is your inning. So the Warriors did get a hit. And here's your replay of the last inning. This is a tough chance for Paul London because the ball comes up on him just to the last second. The infield's in great shape, but you're never going to get a true hop every time.
And not unless you're playing on AstroTurf.
That's right. It's true. And even then, sometimes I'm sure they'll bite you once in a while. But that was a fine job, again, by London to stay with that ball.
Well, I was talking a little bit about the assistant coaches. Of course, we talk about Mike McCormick helping Buddy Denton. Mike, of course, teaches at Kecoughtan High School, but Blair Wood is a volunteer coach for Bouchard, and he's not here today. And I asked Blue where he was. He said he got married, he's on his honeymoon. So I guess that's a good reason to miss of anything. But Blair was a player here at Bethel, played for Roger Bouchard, and also played at VCU. And he was the first four-year letterman in baseball at Bethel High School. So he's got quite good credentials. And it's nice to have a volunteer to come in and help you. It's hard to do it all by yourself.
A lot of credit goes to the coaches in any sport, and certainly in baseball, the job description is many times insignificant compared to what you end up doing. You become a father, a coach, a buddy, and all the different things that you
father,
happen.
confessor.
Yeah.
You're right. You're doing everything, and you really become a father figure for these young men.
Due up for the Bruins here in the bottom half of the second inning, Mike Taylor, Richard Sillo, and Jason Harris for Bethel High School. Mike Taylor, of course, is the pitcher. You mentioned he's been injured. He still does a fine job at the plate, even though, again, only later on into the pros do you find the pitchers don't swing the bat much. Mike Taylor doing a fine job with the bat as well. He's a .370.
I tell you, because your best athletes usually are your pitchers in high school anyway, and that means that they do all the other things well. Not only pitch, but hit and field and do it all. And Mike is no exception.
Wheeler delivers, and Mike Taylor, his counterpart, takes ball one outside.
There is another All-Star game that I want to talk a little bit about that's not through the VHSL up in Lynchburg, but there's one in Roanoke. It's a two-day affair, Tim, that is anybody who is under 18 by the 1st of June is eligible to play. And Mike Taylor and Jason Harris both have been invited to attend that affair. And that's quite an honor for those young men. And it's very possible that Mark Harney may be able to go, but he right now is in the running against a young man by the name of Napoleon at second base for Lafayette. So
4 straight pitches for Taylor, to Taylor, are outside or low. So he's got his pass, and that brings up Richard Sillo, who is playing center field for the Bruins.
He's done a great job defensively out there in center field. He covers a lot of territory, and he's very quick. And I can see that left ankle is still sort of puffed up on him. He's got it wrapped, and he's got a wrap on it. But, Tim, I was here when they had to stop the game and carry him off. He must have broke a blood vessel in there because that thing just blew up like a balloon. It was really scary to see how big it got. And that was like 2 weeks ago, so it's good to see him back so soon. His therapy evidently has worked.
Wheeler having some control problems all of a sudden here after having a relatively smooth first inning. has thrown 6 straight balls to the batters. So his catcher has gone out there. Phillips went out there to kind of settle him down a little bit, see if he can start finding the mark a little bit. Harris with a 2-ball, no strike count. And this one catches the inside corner.
If you watch the catcher Phillips, he looks over to the bench and he's either looking at Buddy or at Mike McCormick, and he's getting he's from Mike McCormick. He's getting the pitch that he wants.
Fouled away as the runner Taylor was going on the pitch.
Both of these teams will hit and run a lot. They're very aggressive, and that's what makes puts pressure on the defense when you do things of that nature.
There you see the story. 2-2, the count to the batter. Nobody out. Runner on first. The Bruins trailing 1-0. Bottom half of the second inning. Wide outside as Wheeler tried to throw a real sweeping curveball, and it just didn't quite. He was trying to get Siller to bite.
Richard started to go,
yeah,
but he did a great job of holding up and not swinging at that pitch.
It's not always easy to hold up when you see that ball moving like that. Runner is going, and a call, strike 3 as Silo is called out, and the play at second. Taylor is in safely. So the steal by Taylor will have him at second base with 1 away.
Well, the base came up. The runner Taylor went head first to the second base and came up holding the base. If you can watch the call strike here and then the throw down by Phillips, as you can see Taylor going in.
Head first.
And his hands got there before the tag got there, as you can see, and he ends up with, and he holds the base up to the ump. So see,
see, I was here.
I'm safe.
I got a hold of it.
I stole this base.
So the strikeout to Silo brings up Jason Harris, the catcher. Harris batting .265 so far this season. The season is winding down. This is what, the next to last ball game for these teams?
Yep.
Runner on second, 1 away. This one is popped up right side. Short right field, it's taken and quickly back in. A good throw by right field prevents any advancement of the runner. So Dane Booker will step in, number 10 for the Bethel Bruins. Booker with a .286 batting average, and Booker plays left field for the Bruins.
Dane is also one of their pitchers. He's pitching 5 games this year so far.
He's only got a .068 ERA. Very successful season for these pitchers. Curveball outside, and the ball lost momentarily, and a very aggressive play. Taylor, the 2 players get tangled up, but Taylor still got his foot on the bag, so good sportsmanship exhibited between the 2 players.
Well, Mike said, well, if I keep you off the bag and get the ball, you're out, right?
So Taylor very alert.
Yes, it was, because that gives him a chance to get in on a single hit anywhere. Now he can score and tie the game up, but of course that's what Boo wants. Very aggressive. Nice heads-up play by Mike Taylor.
It was. The ball was momentarily bobbled by Phillips. Here you see the replay, and he was in there with ease. The ball, in fact, got away from Niamatka. Call strike to Booker. So the runner Taylor at third, 2 away. And still no hit has been registered for the Bruins. This one nubbed off the end of the bat to the second baseman have to hurry, and he does get Booker by a couple of steps.
Well, I tell you, had Wheeler been able to touch the ball, the runner would have been safe because he would have knocked it to the side and it would have been harder for that second baseman to get it. So that was that time it was good that he didn't get a glove on that ball.
Here's your replay. You'll see, you may be able to tell, but the ball is hit right off the end of the bat by Booker. Diving attempt by the pitcher to field the ball, but the second baseman was able to come up with it and get Booker by a step to end the second inning. So the Bruins leave a man on third. They had no runs, no hits, a walk, and after 2 complete innings, the Kecoughtan Warriors lead 1-0. We play 7 here in high school baseball. Due up for the Kecoughtan Warriors, Tommy Staten, who plays second base, and he will be followed by the leadoff batter, Mark McFadden, and Russell Ward. I think you mentioned we do have one remaining spring event here for Channel 5's coverage. That'll be next Monday afternoon, and that game will be played over at Hampton High School. Is that right?
No, it'll be played at
Post 31.
Lindsay.
It's a good thing I get this straight before I try and find where I'm going on Monday, huh?
You better check us out, Tim.
Is that the Lindsay? Is that where we were the year?
We did. It was a Phoebus Hampton game we did one year.
Right. Yeah, we were out in the wide open. That was the day that the storms threatened all afternoon. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
And we're sitting right out in the open. No, not like this. Bethel
No, we got
Park
nice
really
facilities here.
Yes.
This is great. You get so spoiled when you do games at the New Darling Stadium, where you walk in and you have all this wonderful press facilities. But here at Bethel High School, they've got a very fine situation for us. We got great seats.
Well, Tommy is a 3-year varsity player, and this is the first year he's caught. He caught most of the season. He's not catching today.
Taylor delivers. First pitch hit deep to left field, and that ball is out of here. A home run.
And that's your number 9 batter, so that's an awesome hit.
He got all of that one. Tommy Staten, that is his second home run of the season. Batting .260, but he got every piece of that ball. Here's your replay. Watch this, the delivery, and Staten leaning into that ball. Perfect. Boy, I mean, look at that. The weight shifted to the left foot.
Beautiful form.
And that was all she wrote for that ball, as Tommy Staten has quickly made this game 2-0.
And Dane Booker just kind of turned and watched. There was no way he was going to get it.
So Wheeler has got to think twice about the next time, not Wheeler rather, but Taylor is going to have to think twice about when he throws one of these power hitters like that. McFadden, bad hop, but Paul London stays with it. He can stop the ball from going in, but that's all he could do.
Yeah, well, Mark McFadden is an honor roll student also, and Buddy says he makes the team go. He says when he has a good game, Kecoughtan usually has a good game. So that's kind of like how Mark goes, the rest of them go. But there you go. That was just a bad hop, or he would have been, that would have been a sure out, as you can watch.
See if we can pick this up on the replay. If you'll see the bad hop, it just hits the lip of the infield. London did a fine job of even getting a hand on the ball, let alone almost making the play. This is a back to London again, and this time he just didn't handle the ball well. So 2 chances, 2 tough chances for Paul London.
Well, that's very unusual for Paul, but Tim, I'm sure he was thinking double play.
No question.
And was getting ready to throw the ball before he actually had it and mishandled it. And that happens to a lot of people. And Bouchard is now called time. I want to sit out and talk to Mike Taylor and see how he's feeling. But that's 2 plays right there. Should have been 2 outs. So that's not the fault of your pitcher, but you want to make sure your pitcher understands that he's all right. You know, and don't get upset because it's not your fault.
Certainly, London can't be faulted on the first of those, but the second one will have to be registered, I would imagine, by the official score would be an error. He had a chance on it. He should have gotten at least 1. So.
Yeah.
But as you said, Bouchard just out there to settle his pitcher down a little bit. You got a man on second and first. Nobody out. And the batter is Mike Niamatka. 298 batter.
Mike
Niamatka struck out.
Yeah, he's been a first-year All-District as a sophomore and a junior.
Let me correct myself quickly because I don't want to get in trouble with this young man. He's a big young man. He did not strike out. He sacrificed fly in the first inning for the RBI.
That's right. And then we had the batters advance on a pass ball by the catcher.
So the Bruins having a tough time here in the top half of the 3rd inning. They've got runners now at second and third, And Niamatka looking with a 1-ball, no strike count. Nobody out. Taylor delivers and a call strike.
But again, he's been first team all-district as both a sophomore and a junior, and that says a lot for this young man.
Oh, that ball inside, and it hit him, and he went down hard. That hurt. The ball got away from the pitcher, and Niamatka wants to shake it off. And
hit him right on the elbow, it looked like.
Well, I don't think he had much of an opportunity to get away from the ball. Here's your replay. The ball just came really in tight on him very quickly, and you can see him trying to get away from it. Looked like he got him on the right shoulder.
That was on the left shoulder, Tim. He won the.
You got him on the inside? I thought it hit him on the left shoulder. I mean the right shoulder.
Whatever. He got hit.
It definitely hit him.
Yes.
He has gone to the dugout.
Watch where the ball hits, and I believe it hits over here on the left side, Tim. Watch it. And the ball comes in and hits him right at the elbow. See where it hit him?
Oh, it's the left. Okay, I was thinking it hit him in the right shoulder, so it was the left elbow or left forearm.
Yeah, elbow or forearm, and that's I assume that's Slow-Mo Joe in the truck doing a great job as usual. Of course, he can only do as good a job as our camera people do.
And they do a great job.
Yeah.
So Niamatka will go down to first base and shake it off. That's a tough pitch to take because that thing hurts. I want you to know that he will feel that for a while. So the bases are loaded up now.
That brings up Buddy Denton. Buddy is also an honor roll student, and he likes to hit.
Buddy or David?
I'm sorry, I call him Buddy. It's David, you're right. That's Buddy's son, David. But he is in a good position. He got the bases loaded, none out.
Denton hitting .340, 10 RBIs on the season. And he has the best base on balls average. He has drawn 12 walks this season, so obviously has a good eye. This time he watches a call strike. The bases are full, nobody out. Top of the third inning. Kecoughtan leading 1-0 and threatening with more. Excuse me, 2-0. This one could be 2. Over to London for 1, down to first for 2. A run scores, but they do turn the double play.
That was a great double play that time by that second baseman. And for Bouchard, who is Smith, and London at shortstop. And, of course, the end was to Chris Gaskell over on first base.
We get a chance to watch it again. Denton hit the ball sharply to second. He threw over to the shortstop covering, over to first, and got the easy-looking double play, and that was a big play for the Bruins.
It really was, because the bases loaded, no outs. Now you've given them one run, and you have a chance to cut it off right there.
A runner at third and 2 outs. Batter is Phillips, the catcher.
David has been playing second base most of the season, and he's probably the most versatile player on the team. He can play anywhere, and he's catching today.
He fouls this one down the third base line. He had a hit the first time up. In the second inning, he singled, only to be left stranded. 2 away, runner on third. 2 runs across. The Warriors leading 3-0. And the runner was going to steal home as Ward was coming as the windup was being executed by the pitcher. So I was waiting to see what was going to happen. Would that be a hit and run, Bob? He was swinging away. Boy, if you pull that ball down third baseline, you could have a mortal enemy.
It would have been a close play.
That was an interesting call.
And of course, see, with the right-handed batter, the catcher may not have caught the runner coming in. He may not have been aware of it. So.
I don't think that he did. I think you're right. I think.
And I don't know if that was a call play or he's got an open.
This one. Good play by the third baseman to get him just in time.
Nice job by Jeff Jordan over on third base.
So Phillips grounds out third to first to end the inning. So the Bruins really escaped what could have been a disastrous inning. They gave up 2 runs. Here's the replay of the final out of the inning. But they gave up 2 runs. One of those, the home run to left center by Tommy Staten to lead the inning off. And then the Bruins saw the Warriors load up the bases and allowed only 1 run after that with no one out and the bases loaded. To get away with 1 run, you've done a fine job.
Yeah, really have. The defense pulled that out. That nice double play that they had to get 2 outs after the bases were loaded. But that gives them a 3-0 lead over the Bruins, and the Bruins, of course, are coming to bat.
Unofficially, Kecoughtan with 2 hits and 2 runs that inning. They've got 4 hits and 3 runs, and the Bruins still looking for their first hit.
Bethel's got a great booster club, as you were talking about those cookies behind us. But they have a lot of projects that they have been responsible for the indoor and outdoor batting cages here at Bethel. They put new roofs on the dugouts. They set up the after-season banquet for the baseball team. They have special awards for the players, and of course they do some baseball clothing, hats, and T-shirts and all for the players and the fans. So the Booster Club is very active here at Bethel High School for this baseball team.
Where are the hot dogs?
I don't know.
They got them over there. We have to have a timeout. You have timeouts in baseball?
Yeah, but they're very short.
There's the hot dogs. There our camera people are getting
you know, Scotty's going to find a hot dog. And Slow-Mo Joe probably got that on Slow-Mo to check them out, see if they're good as what he has down there at the stadium.
No, that's not possible.
Yeah, they don't have those hot sausages. Man, I tell you.
I'm going to see if I can get the camera to get a picture of my wife while she's in the stands so all the viewers out there can see my much better half.
They'll think she's probably blind, right? I mean,
she's in the top row to my right with the blue blouse and the tan shorts on. We'll get our director to get a shot there. She'll probably kill me after this. Fouled away, the leadoff batter here for the Bethel Bruins, Chris Gaskell. There she is in the center of your screen. Yeah, that's the young lady right there, right smack in the middle there with her hands holding her. She is awfully young. I've been accused of being old enough to be her father.
Well, and they just tell me your eyesight's not real good.
That's right. She's a lovely lady.
Yes, she is.
My bride of 7 years. Outside and high. Chris Gaskell is the batter. Bottom half of the 3rd inning. Right-handed Wheeler winds, delivers. It's a little bit low, so the count is now 2-2 to Gaskell.
Well, Gaskell is a 3 sports star. He's on a football team, on the basketball team, and now on a baseball team.
High, so the count runs full.
And
full count.
As big as he is, Tim, he is a sophomore.
Oof. I'm telling you, my son is a freshman, and he's a big kid. But some of these young sophomores and juniors I'm seeing out here today, I wouldn't want to have their feet built. Swing and a miss on a nice-looking pitch from Mr. Wheeler. Gets Chris Gaskell to go down swinging. This will bring up Leslie Smith, the right fielder for Bethel. Batting .200 on the season.
He's just a junior for the Bruins.
Right back to the pitcher. No messing around. Over to first. Let's get this inning over with.
I tell you, when you're a pitcher, you like that swing on that first pitch and get it easy out. It really makes it easy for the pitcher.
Leadoff man Mark Harney steps in. Here's your replay, the wind and pitch from Mr. Wheeler.
That just went right on. I mean, he really just kind of rolled it down his bat. It never got much on it. And Brett made a great play from this pitcher. Got off the mound.
Harney looks at a curveball a little bit low. Harney started off the game and grounded out short to first. His only other time at bat. Ball 2. Good crowd on hand for the game today. It's nice to see these fans out here.
I'm going to call this pitch well, we got a timeout, but I was going to call it a curveball. I'm watching Mike McCormick over there. I'm trying to pick up his.
Yeah, but don't call him until after he throws it.
Well, I'm not going to.
But, don't want to tip off the batter. He might hear it.
But see, with when we did Hampton and Danny Mitchell told me what to look for, but here I'm trying to pick it up and not doing a real good job.
That's right. We had a little insight that last time. We knew what to look for. 2 away here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. 3-0 the count to the batter Harney. Wheeler delivers. It's low for ball 4, so Harney gets the pass. And that'll bring up Jeff Jordan, who struck out the first time. 2 down. The Bruins still looking for their first hit. They've had 2 base runners, both of them via the walk. 3 strikeouts recorded by Mr. Wheeler. Strike called as Wheeler comes back into that strike zone.
I don't know if the cameraman between seasons, we get the young man that's on the truck, and I think that's Sammy Jr. He can pan over there and watch the Bethel-Hampton tennis match going on.
Split screen sports coverage.
Yeah,
is that our newest?
I tell you, we just do everything here.
Dr. Sam looked at you like, are you kidding me? Nice hit as Jeff Jordan gets a seeing eye single right through the gap.
He couldn't have hit that any other place to, because it wasn't a really sharp hit, but it just no way the second baseman for Buddy Denton, Tommy Staten, was going to get to that ball. He made a valiant effort, but now you got your man up.
Here's a replay. You'll see the ball just between first and second. Where second baseman shaded to the bag with the runner on first. He was looking for the play there. And that opened that hole a little bit wider. So London batting left-handed, and he takes it high and tight. Mr. Wheeler sending a message.
Yeah, Paul is saying, you get another one in, I'm going to pull that thing over right field, see if he can hit Sammy Jr. on top of the truck over there.
London popped out to the second baseman his first time up. This one's low in the dirt, and they've got the man hung up between first and second. And they will tag it out easily. So London will get another at bat, but it won't come this time.
And that really is a mistake on the base runner because there's nowhere for him to go. There was already a runner on second. You don't want to get yourself picked off. That was not a heads-up play, and it really took Bethel out of a golden opportunity. Your top RBI man is up to bat. You got 2 outs, but you got 2 men on. And the young man hit a grand slam off of the same pitcher the first time they played. So you watch the rundown and the tag out. That was just not heads-up base running.
Just got him leaning the wrong way.
Well, not only leaning, Tim, he was a good 15 feet off that base.
Yeah, he was trying to, I don't know what, they might have had a play on or something, but he definitely hung out to dry.
Yeah, you really wouldn't think there would be a play on with 2 out, but stranger things have happened.
So the Warriors, top half of the 4th inning, will send scheduled to bat Steve Smizer, Rock Brown, and the pitcher, Mr. Wheeler. There you go.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, Bob, the tennis match, you see it in progress over here at Bethel High School.
Oh, and listen, the first 2 teams that get on this kind of coverage, Hampton and Bethel, tennis teams. That'll surprise him a little bit. Steve Schmeiser is, again, I told you, transferred from Woodbridge. He's been a great addition to the team, says Buddy Denton, not only as an outfitter, but also as a pitcher. And he also has hit well during the season, so Buddy is very pleased with getting a transfer student in, because usually you get a transfer student in after the season's over. But he got him first of the year and was glad to get him.
Took strike one. Schmeiser was able to sacrifice in the second inning. Trying to advance the runner and did so very effectively. Takes call, strike two. And I apologize, I've all of a sudden had an attack of the allergies. Boy, I've been battling the allergies this spring, and all of a sudden I got a shot of pollen. I apologize if I start sniffing here. Schmeiser hits it, and London just can't make the play at shortstop. Having a tough afternoon is Mr. London. We're going to have to probably record that as an error on the play, and then he advanced to second, so it'll be a two-base error. I took my eye off Schmeiser for a minute, and he was on second base. Good speed.
He does have real good speed.
Here you see the replay. London, it was a tough play. There's no question about it, but he could have and should have probably made the play. I'm not the official scorer, so I'll just unofficially give him an error on the play. But Schmeiser very alertly, when that ball bounded away from London, advanced to second. Foul tip by Rock Brown. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's Rock Brown. I have a different order too. Buddy says this young man's going to be a good one. He's really got a lot of tools. His father, I've talked with his father. His father, of course, he likes basketball because you get instant gratification when you score. It's right there. But football and baseball, probably his two best sports. And, of course, he does excel at basketball, too. But he goes down swinging.
On a high, hard one. A good-looking smoke that time from Taylor. As he just reared back and threw some heat.
I noticed that the temperature gauge went up a couple of degrees after that last pitch.
Brett Wheeler, the pitcher, steps in. He grounded out first time up. He hits this one to right center and unable to make the play. And the Warriors are going to have runners at first and second. The ball gets away from the catcher. Now we'll see the pitcher Wheeler will advance to second with ease. So the Bruins having a tough afternoon.
Well, that was a tough play by Sillo in center, Tim, but he did a great job of stopping that ball from going to the fence.
Here's your replay. That's the last pitch to Rock Brown. That was the strikeout.
So Brett Wheeler helps his own cause.
Here's your replay of the last action. There you go. Here we come, and that's Wheeler hitting it. And you see Sillo, as I said, make a long run to the ball. It just couldn't quite get there. We're back to the live action now. Call strike to the batter, Tommy Staten, who got all of the ball in the third inning for a single home run. I mean, he just knocked it right over that area of between 350 and 375.
Well, he had prior to that, so we have to add one to this. He has had 14.
Play at home, and the runner is out at home. Good play.
And he had and it saved the base runner from second going down. He couldn't make that move from second to third, so nice job by the catcher for the Bruins. Jason Harris did a great job of blocking the plate and making that put out. But anyway, as I was saying about Tommy Staten, he has scored 13 runs from the number 9 spot in the batting order, which is, Buddy considers that the second leadoff position anyway. So he's done a great job, so we can add one to that and make it 14 with that home run he had earlier.
So Staten is on by the fielder's choice. Now McFadden, nice bunt down the third baseline, and they won't get him. That's a fine-looking play.
Mark McFadden, again, Buddy says he makes his team go. His college plans are either going to be at Old Dominion or Christopher CNC. One of those two is definitely where he'll go, and he will play ball at either one of them.
That was just a fine bunt there. They were back because they had the runners at second and third, And McFadden just simply put that ball down there, and with his speed, it was an easy bunt single. The batter now is Russell Ward, who struck out in the first, reached on an error in the third.
Well, last year he was named to the last year's first team all-district. And he's going to go to college. He's not sure where he's going to go, possibly to a junior college for his first 2 years. As I see, we have a friend flying around in here that...
That's no friend of mine.
I was hoping he'd go over and see you. Stay away from me.
1-2 on the foul tip to Ward. I still haven't gotten a chance to repeat that story about McFadden, the young man who just bunted that single, how I was Chuck McFadden's next-door neighbor years ago. And little Mark was out there at the tender age of 5. He'd go out there and hit the ball, and you could tell he was going to be a baseball player. So while I'm telling that story, Russell Ward harmlessly grounds out 4-3 to end the inning. And
take a little break.
I got to make sure I got all my runs here.
Well, let's take a little quick
Let's do that. We'll be right back after this brief timeout. There is a timeout in baseball. Hot dog timeout. There you see the sun-drenched crowd here at Bruin Park. Beautiful afternoon, the kind of weather you just dream about. This must be Southern California weather.
Well, I tell you, it is really nice. The fans are really enjoying this. We got a nice crowd here today.
There's my lovely wife again. Smile, wife. She does look awfully young, doesn't she?
Too young for you, Tim. I keep saying that.
The due-up batters for Bethel, Paul London, Mike Taylor, and Richard Sillo, as the Bruins have just one hit in 3 innings against Mr. Wheeler. We mentioned before, Paul London with a hefty .463 batting average leads the club in RBIs with 28. And a swing and a miss. Good-looking pitch. Mr. Wheeler has thrown some real fine pitches so far in this game.
Yes, he has.
4-2 record. He's only allowed a total of 13 runs in 41 2/3 innings coming into this game. Of course, I don't know how many of those runs were earned. They were not broken down that way.
Well, you notice he's pitching most inside to Paul, because he put that out over the plate low outside. He'll take that thing and put it over the fence. So he's going to keep him inside and try to keep him low and inside and try to jam him. And right now he's got 2-1 on him. I'm sorry, 1-2.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And this one is hit back up the middle for a base hit for Paul London.
Tim, had that happened last inning, we'd had 1, possibly 2 runs. So that was a big out there at first base in that last inning.
Mike Taylor, the pitcher, will step in. He reached on a base on balls in the 2nd inning. Here's your replay of London's successful hit up the middle. See the fine batting form he has. Keeps his head down, watches the ball all the way to the bat.
And that ball jammed him too, but he stayed with it.
Quick throw over to first. London is back in time. Mike Taylor walked, as I mentioned, in the 2nd inning. His only other time at bat.
Of course, we saw Mike play basketball, and he was also the punter on Kaiser's football teams. Another 3 letterman at Bethel High School.
Took a call strike that time. Pitch out as they try and get London. The ball gets away from the first baseman on a bad throw from the catcher, and London will advance with ease.
Now that's just like a sacrifice, except you don't have the out. And that's one of the first errors on Kecoughtan today, I believe.
See, what happened is the catcher, Phillips, saw London was well off the bag. He thought he could get it to him, and he just threw a one-hopper to the first baseman. This one is fouled down the first baseline. It looks like it's just out of play, and it is, as the Kecoughtan first baseman
That's David Denton. He made
Denton.
A nice move for it, but he had to watch out for the fence.
Well, he was just about maybe a yard away from making that catch. It was just on the other side of the fence. So Taylor stays alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the bottom half of the 4th. 3-0 our score. Kecoughtan on top. This one is hit back right side of the field over to first for the easy out, and London advances.
And that's exactly why Mike went with that pitch. He went to the right side because he knew if he did that would advance Paul London. And look who's eating a hot dog.
Well, he better have one for us.
Man is enjoying this. I wish we get the camera on this guy. Hey, man is enjoying this ball game. And then we can watch the last play.
Hot dogs and soft drinks and chocolate chip cookies. You can't get any better.
You're right.
Richard Sillo steps in.
Take me out to the ball game.
Yes, sir. Sillo, a strikeout victim in the 2nd inning. This was popped up right side. Denton has a beat on it, and he stays with it, makes the play for the 2nd out. So Sillo goes down on a first pitch pop up to the right side, and Jason Harris, the catcher, will come in to bat for the Bruins. Paul London's still standing on third base.
Yeah, he's trying to get in. Somebody hit me in.
Harris popped up to the right fielder his first time up. Ooh, high and tight. And London may well, and in fact will, score on the wild, I guess it would be a wild pitch or a pass ball, I'm not sure which. It's rather insignificant which you call it, but nonetheless, London very alertly on the pitch. Let's see if we can figure this out. I think it was a pass ball. It went right off the catcher's glove.
Yeah, it definitely was not a wild pitch. Paul did a great job. He made his move, and Susie saw that ball possibly inside and get away from the catcher. He was gone, and that's a big boost for the Bruins because that cuts that lead down to 2 now.
And this one right up the middle, taken by the shortstop. Long throw for the out. So Harris grounds out shortstop to first.
Well, that was a big pass ball because that runner wouldn't have been stranded at third base.
There's no question about that. So the Bruins with 1 hit, they're 2nd of the ball game, and they do pick up a run. You'll get a chance to watch the replay of the last out of the inning. Hit sharply to the shortstop.
Shortstop had to go over almost to second base to get that, so he had a good range. The shortstop being Mark McFadden, and that's the young man that you taught him all he knows because you took him when he was real young, right, and showed him how to hit that ball and run. You're not going to take any.
I can't take any credit.
Any credit, okay.
Chuck used to go out there with him. Chuck McFadden, the coach over at Phoebus. He'd go out there with young Mark when, as I said, Mark was 4 or 5 years old. He was just barely big enough to hold on to a bat, and he'd throw that little styrofoam ball to him, and he'd bat it back and forth and catch the ball. You just tell the kid was going to be a good ball player, but, you know, Chuck helped him develop his skills at a real young age, and it has paid off. You know, another young man, I got to repeat my story from the last time here. Here you see our camera people doing their superb job. That's Ron award-winning Baton giving us the thumbs up. Our main man for the football season. He loves it when we go back in time. There's Jerome Young. And Sammy, hold me up stills.
Well, I think that Lawrence of Arabia out there. And Darth Vader.
Darth Vader.
Oh, we can't see the face. I don't know, maybe he doesn't want anybody to know he's here today. Oh,
I started to tell that story. You know, there's 2 young men that I watched grow up here. Young Sillo, Richard Sillo, was when I lived in the Riverdale apartments. He was just a little tyke. I used to go in the swimming pool at the Riverdale, and he used to ask me to throw him around the pool. He'd have me throw him, and I'd pick this kid up and throw him about 15 feet. He's strong enough now to pick me up and throw me. So.
Well, I don't know, Tim.
Well, maybe not. Niamatka fouls the first pitch down the third base line out of play.
Mike, of course, not only been a 3-year starter, Tim, but he has already been offered a scholarship at Radford, but he's also right now kind of looking at ODU, VCU, and VPI. So this young man will go on a scholarship, and a well-deserving young man. He's really done a great job since he's been at Kecoughtan High School.
Got an RBI sacrifice fly in the first inning. And he's hit by a pitch.
I just been attacked by the killer Kaz.
Oh no, nothing worse than a killer Kaz. How you doing, Coach?
Yeah, it's good to see Coach. He's at his track team over here working. We're going to swing around and try to get him, but
he's gone. He's behind us now. He's too close to get a picture of him now. I started to say Niamatka sacrifice fly and I had an RBI in the first inning, and then he took that nasty inside pitch that knocked him down in the third, and here he's back in the fifth. I can see on his left forearm a red welt.
Yeah.
Just below the elbow.
There was no way he was going to get out of the way of that, because that was so inside that it caught him flush on the left, and if he was moving out of the way, and it was more towards the pitchers, towards the plate, it would have hit him on the right side.
Niamatka half swing. They say he went. The ball got away from the catcher, so he'll get an assist on that, a put out, and the K registered to the pitcher. See if we can, between innings, maybe we get Coach Kaz to talk about the upcoming, if you can stretch your imagination that far, the football season. What he's got coming back for.
Wait, we're about to lose him here. Well, we can get him to talk a little bit about the track team. This track team, especially the girls' track team. I'll just give him my headset and let you and him talk a little bit.
That sounds good. The batter is David Denton. Yeah, we'll get we'll get it in a minute. We'll get him in a minute. We'll get him a mic on here, and we'll put him on the spot.
I got him a mic right there.
Call strike to David Denton. Not call strike two, but a call strike to him. 1-1 is the count. 1 ball, 1 strike, and a curveball, strike 2. We deadened that mic long enough for Dr. Sam to beat it against the fence a little bit. We'll get you in here in a minute, Kaz. And a strike 3 as David Denton is the second strikeout victim of the inning for Mr. Taylor, as Mike Taylor, who, as you said, has come back from injuries, but he's looking pretty good right now.
Well, he was Coach Kaz's kicker this year. Man, young man's got a great leg on him. He could really punt that ball.
Damon Phillips, the catcher, steps in. Phillips singled in the second and grounded out in the third.
And again, this young man is so versatile. Buddy says he can play anywhere.
And hustling down to first base, he was able to reach because the throw from third drew the first baseman off.
Well, Jeff Jordan got the ball from third base, and he was really relaxed when he threw it, and the ball got away from him. And Chris Gaskell did a great job of catching and stopping the ball so the runner couldn't advance. But again, that should have been a putout, and that brings up Smeisner again.
Steve Smeisner. Again, Taylor likes to throw that curveball. He really does. Smeisner, 275 batter on the season, 51 at-bats, 14 hits. Smeisner's recorded 5 doubles this season. Fouled out of play.
I tell you, Tim, we really appreciate both coaching staffs for all the statistics they give us. It really makes it nice to be able to talk about these players, because we don't get to see them except in 1 or 2 games during the year, and to be able to have the statistics there, we really appreciate the coaching staffs.
This one hit to the right side. Going to be in foul territory, just out of the reach of the right fielder.
Look out, Joe. Look out the road.
They're trying to get the truck that time. If that hit the top of the truck, we'd have seen Scotty and Bev and Slow-Mo Joe abandoning the ship. They'd have come out 3 different doors.
Waving the white flag.
We only have 2 doors, but Scotty would have made another one. And I thought there was a bomb hit him or something. That thing was headed for the truck.
Probably even woke Bethel.
Inside. Man on first. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to the batter. Batter is Steve Smizer, the right fielder. The Bruins trailing 3-1 here. Just outside. 2-2 the count. Damon Phillips, the runner on first. Again, this one gets away from the catcher. Phillips will not try to advance. So the count runs full to the batter. And of course, with 2 outs, we will watch Phillips be running on the pitch.
Oh, he'll be going for sure. And of course, Buddy says that Steve has done a great job of hitting during this season. He's been a nice addition to this Kecoughtan Warrior team.
Strike 3 called as Mr. Taylor, Mike Taylor, strikes the side out in the 5th inning. And after completing 5 innings now, our score remains, excuse me, we didn't complete 5, but rather 4.5 innings. We're going to be going to the bottom of the 5th. Remains 3-1. And there's your last call. And we got Coach Kozlowski here with us. Coach, good to see you here. You got the track team out there working out today.
Yeah, well, we have 2 weeks until the district tournament. Our girls recently returned from the Penn Relays and Championship of America, and they qualified for both the 4x1 and the 4x400 relays and made it to the finals. And unfortunately, the Jamaican girls did them in. We ran 48-2, one of the best times in the state of Virginia this year, and also ran the 4x4 in 3:51, which is an excellent time, and placed us a #1 ranked team in the state in both events this year.
Guys, name those young ladies off. We've had them on a couple of times, but I want you to name them off. They've just done an excellent job.
Well, they were superb up there. Leslie Satchel, Shonda Reeves, Janelle Johnson, Tiffany Smallwood, and Cantrice Pace, and they did a super job. Cantrice opened up with a 58 leadoff leg, and the second girl, Tiffany Smallwood, ran a 57. Satchel turned in a 59, and Johnson ran a 57 anchor leg for us up there.
Wow, that's moving. Tim, that's about as fast as that car of yours will go.
Well, what's really exciting about it is the fact that all 4 of those young ladies return next year, and that was one of the reasons why we decided to send them. Janelle Johnson's been somewhat hampered by early season injury, and we really haven't pushed her yet. So this layoff before the district meet really comes at a good time to help her.
Well, that's great, Coach. I know that you read a lot about the Penn Relays. That's a real prestigious place to go. So that's tremendous that the young ladies did that well.
Well, one other thing I would like to mention, in the city of Hampton, the Phoebus girls won the Captain's Classic earlier this season during the outdoor track competition, and then in that same meet, the Bethel boys won the championship by outscoring Denby and Menchville, and Bethel won the Peninsula Relays in what was called the water relays. As a matter of fact, it was so wet that day that we were having alligator races on the sideline of Todd Stadium.
I remember that day. I lived up by Todd Stadium, and I remember that. I had to borrow some firewood from my next-door neighbor because I had run out, and it was so cold I didn't want to have to turn my heat back on.
But it rained hard that whole day. Normally it rained hard and it'll ease up, and it didn't ease up at all on you guys.
That was the weekend that Norfolk got 6 inches of rain, and I think we had about 4.5 inches. So, yeah,
it was all on Todd Stadium and Coach Guy. So.
Let me just interrupt you long enough to tell the fans who's at bat here. This is Dane Booker, who grounded out second to first in the second inning, and he's the leadoff batter here in the bottom half of the 5th. And he swings and misses the ball. He got away from the catcher. He'll tag him out. But Booker will be a strikeout victim to lead off here. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you short, Kaz.
Well, no, that's all right. You know,
I'm
the game
glad-
is what we're here for.
Well, that's a good point, because we'd like to make, go on record as saying that we as Channel 5 would like to do more coverage of all the sports, which would include track and field. But as the fans might imagine, it really is a difficult sporting event for us to cover, because it requires an awful lot of mobility that we just don't really have as a rule.
Well, we were toying with an idea. We've been videotaping certain events. Matter of fact, we do have a videotape of the Championship of America race with our girls in it up there, and possibly I'll make that available to Scotty, and possibly you all
nice.
could use it at a later date. That might be an idea for Bob to interview some of the outstanding track performers in the city of Hampton, because there are some excellent ones. Alicia Tucker and Tawanda Gardner over at Hampton High School. Tawanda over at Phoebus High School in Vilman, Tony Wheeler over at Kecoughtan, Michael Cherry here at Bethel are all excellent track and field athletes that should be recognized.
Absolutely.
Very good point.
Good point.
2 balls and a strike to Chris Gaskell, the second man up here. The first baseman struck out in the 3rd inning for the Bruins. And this one is just a little high. 3-2 is the count.
3-2 or 3-1?
Well, he just gave me 3-2, but
I think you counting the thumb. It's 3-1.
all right. I thought it was 3-1, but I could have sworn he held up 2 fingers on his right hand. Doesn't matter now, as Mr. Gaskell will trot down to first base with the base on balls.
I think he's got a long thumb or something stuck up there. It
Maybe.
look like 3-2.
Leslie Smith will step in. Leslie was a ground-out victim in the 3rd inning.
Well, when you all were talking about the rain, what was really intriguing about today, I felt so bad being up in a press box announcing that I went down and decided to get totally soaked with everybody else. All the other officials were so soaked, so I went down and got soaked as well. I'd like to commend all the Peninsula District coaches that attended, and all the coaches from the state of North Carolina and Northern Virginia and Central Virginia that braved that inclement weather to have that meet. And what was really funny was, after we decided to postpone the field events around 11 o'clock, we then decided that any of the shot putters that wanted to contest the mud wrestling contest that we were going to hold in the shot put area, to report.
I'm telling you.
We didn't have anybody report.
That probably was the nastiest day I have seen in a long time. The temperature was in the upper 40s to low 50s. It was a driving rain. I mean, I know you guys were holding that event that weekend, and I just felt so bad for you. I went down to the store, and I could hear, people right around the corners, and I could hear people yelling and screaming, and I figured it was agony that they were yelling and screaming from. But
it was really brutal. Matter of fact, it went down to the last event, and probably one of the reasons that Bethel won was primarily because T.C. Williams High School got on their bus to head back to Northern Virginia, and we won the mile relay.
They want to get away from the rain. Coach, can you comment a little bit on your football team in just a second?
Yeah, let me just interject here that what had just happened, in case the fans might not have been following. Leslie Smith struck out for the 2nd out of the inning, and this brings up Mark Harney, who is 1 for 2 on the afternoon. Excuse me, he's 0 for 1 rather. He grounded out in the 1st and walked in the 3rd. I get it right yet. All right, trying to hurry too much here. Yeah, talk about your team for the football season, if you will, Kaz. Just a little insight as to what you got. What kind of returning players you got?
Well, unfortunately, we lost Paul London and Rodney Bowens, 2 all-district performers, so that's going to hurt us quite severely. We have some young men that may be able to pick up the slack, but the one positive asset is that most of our offensive line returns, and that has to be a very big plus for us. We also will have back many of the injured players from last season, and hope we never have to endure anything like that again.
I think we've just seen a balk call.
He didn't stop when he came down. You got to make a pause before you come to the home to the plate with the ball, and he didn't do that. Well, that's a good point, Kaz, that you got your offensive line coming back, and that's got to be a big plus for you. You've got some holes to fill, but you also got some good athletes over here at Bethel High School, so it's just a matter of getting them in and getting them some experience, I'm sure.
Well, one of the areas I think we're probably going to be the weakest will be in the kicking game with Michael Taylor, the district and state leading punter, gone, and also his kickoffs and our field goal kicker being gone. There are going to be some big shoes to fill, and our long snapper is our backup punter, so we have some few shoes to fill.
Well, of course, I know it's a tough situation in high school ball. You got to work with what you have, and I'm sure you'll do a very fine job. You and your coaching staff, year in and year out, certainly do the best job that you can to maximize the people
Well,
you have.
we're not going to be in a very enviable situation this year. As a matter of fact, none of the teams in the league will be with Hampton with 95% of their team returning next year. They will probably be absolutely awesome, and Coach Smith has done such an excellent job that I cringe the thought of stepping on that field next year. You know, Mike, when you hear this, go easy on us, please.
Well, hey,
There's a whole bunch of country boys just trying to survive.
Yeah, well, I know that, but I'll tell you one thing, Coach, you come up with some wrinkles that keep the rest of the coaches on the District Peninsula kind of guessing sometimes. They never know for sure. They know your basic game plan, but you got some wrinkles that you throw in every now and then.
As a matter of fact, I wonder myself which team's going to show up.
2-2 the count to Mark Harney. We're talking with Coach Kozlowski, who is the track coach as well as the football coach.
And the athletic director.
Dina Boys, and probably rakes the field when he has to.
No Dina Boys.
No, but Kaz did have to coach junior varsity baseball game the other day.
As a matter of fact, I had to coach the last 2 JV baseball games. I had a very busy Saturday. Didn't go over very well with the family, but I had to coach a JV baseball game in the morning and then go over to Hampton University for the Hampton Invitational Meet.
Mark Harney is called for the 3rd strike as
he's not real happy about that one either, Tim. He thought that was a little outside.
It might have been, but it was close enough to call, and if it's that close, you got to swing at it when you got 2 strikes.
That's right.
So 3 strikeouts in the inning.
Well, you know, while we're doing this ball game here, the Hampton and Kecoughtan, or the Bethel and Kecoughtan JVs are playing over at Kecoughtan for the lead in the JV division. And the winner of that ball game will have a 1-game advantage over all the other teams in the league.
There you saw the last call strike as he is called out by Mick McCula, who I'm sure you're familiar with as a football coach. Of course, Mick is a multi-sport official, and we've had the pleasure of seeing Mick do a couple of games over at Darling Stadium. I know you're absolutely correct, Kaz, about the fact that you've lost an awful lot of key players, and certainly Hampton, on the surface, on paper, looks like they're just going to be, as you said, to use the word awesome, but they've got most of their team coming back from a team that went to the state final. So, but I'm sure, again, the tradition at Bethel High School is so strong in their competition, whether it's in track and field or baseball or football, that I'm sure you'll be representative. I'm sure of that.
Well, thank you very much. Well, fellas, I tell you, it's been a pleasure.
It's always a
few
pleasure.
Minutes with you guys.
Yeah.
Last year, I had the pleasure of having you do the first game of the season over at Darling Stadium when Bob took a hiatus down to Alabama to see.
No. I went to Minnesota to a wedding.
One of those places. I knew he went somewhere.
Well, I'm going down to Alabama Thursday to see my grandbaby. I'm going down to spend a couple of days with her. So I will be gone for the part of this week.
Well, good luck in the remainder of the season for your track team, Coach. I hope you guys come through with flying colors. I'm sure you will.
But I'd like to give the people the dates. The state track meet will be held at Todd Stadium on May the 30th and June the 1st, both days. And then, of course, the regional will be 1 week earlier on the 24th and 25th. And then the district meet will be the 17th and 18th. All will be at Todd Stadium. And if anyone wants to see some of the finest track in the state of Virginia, and possibly the nation in some cases, because we do have some nationally ranked athletes performing in those meets, come on by.
Good enough.
Well, thanks a lot, Coach. We really appreciate you coming by.
Take care. Always a pleasure to see you. Call strike 2 as we're back to the baseball in hand here. We appreciate Coach Kozlowski coming by and chatting with us about the track and field and the football, of course. And we talked about this again. All he did was solidify what I said about how a coach is all the different things he could possibly be. They're out here. Anyone who wants to take a coaching job better plan on about an 80-hour work week.
But I tell you, a lot of people think the coaches are well paid, but if you break it down on an hourly basis, they're not making minimum wage, that's for sure. But they do a great job, as we can see this last out by Rock Brown down to Jeff Jordan and over to Chris Gaskell. But they just do a tremendous job, and these young men, the athletes we have on the peninsula, Tim, it never ceases to amaze me what great athletes we have. I go back to the Midwest, and I talk to my brother back in Iowa, and there's a lot of great athletes there, but, I mean, the times and what happens here it's unbelievable, just our area.
No question. 1-1 the count to the batter. That's Brett Wheeler, the pitcher for the Warriors, and he swings and fouls it off. Ball and 2 strikes. Wheeler grounded out in the second inning and got a single in the fourth. He is 1 for 2 on the afternoon. Wheeler on the season batting a 118, not exactly one of your hot batters. This time he hits a 2-second. Easy play over to first for the first out of the inning. Excuse me, the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Tommy Staten.
Well, let me tell you a little something about this Brett Wheeler. I don't know if we'll get a chance to see him again, but he will be pitching, of course. He could end up being the winningest pitcher in Kecoughtan history. Right now it's held by Tim Burcham, who had 23 wins during the 80-83 season. He was now pitching for the California Angels. So that'll give you some idea of what they think of this young Brett Wheeler.
Tommy Staten trots down to have a quick word with Buddy Denton before stepping in.
No, that's Mike McCormick. Buddy's down at the other end.
I'm sorry, I just glanced down and didn't even pay attention to who it was. 2 away here in the top half of the 6th inning. A 3-1 ball game. The second place Bethel Bruins and the third place Kecoughtan Warriors. I'm Tim Cole with Bob Hintz. We hope you're enjoying the ball game here on Channel 5. No commercials. You get nothing but pure sports on Channel 5.
Well, the commercials we give are for the other sports events that we're going to have or that's happening that you may come and go see. But you're right. Commercial free.
Fouled away on the right side. 1-1 the count.
Tommy last time up hit a nice shot, didn't he?
Time before last, he sure did. He was on with a fielder's choice. He is 1 for 2 this afternoon, but the one he got all of over the the left center field fence for a 360-foot home run back in the second inning. And you can tell that that our pitcher Taylor remembers that, and he's keeping the ball way on the outside, so he stays away from that wheelhouse.
He's gonna make him reach for it.
This one he drills down the middle, is fouled away.
Well, he tried to blow that right by him. He reared back and really let it go.
Threw him high heat, as they say.
Well, Mike is doing a tremendous job they were concerned about his sprained shoulders, I had said earlier.
He's looked real strong this afternoon.
He really has. He's had good control, too, Tim. He has not been wild. His curveball has been around the plate all day. I don't know what velocity that fastball has gotten, but it's really coming down there.
This one hit sharply by the third baseman into left field for a base hit for Tommy Staten. He's 2 for 3 on the afternoon. And with 2 outs, the Warriors again have a runner on base, and it brings up Mark McFadden, the leadoff batter. McFadden is 3 for 3, 3 singles, and he has scored twice this afternoon.
Watch the hit here by Tommy Staten, and it just gets by a nice try by Jeff Jordan at third, but it just was right outside his glove.
McFadden 4 for 4 as he drills this one to left field. And I say 4 for 4. There was that play in the first inning that he got on base with. It might have been an error on the official scorer's book. I'm not sure, but it was a tough chance, a bad hop, and I'm going to give him a hit until I'm told otherwise.
I don't blame you. I see Bouchard's going out and talk to Mike Taylor again, and we watched that last hit.
That last hit was just as pretty as they come. He just belted it right to left field. I mean, there was a nice even swing. He had his weight distributed just right, and the ball was just a perfect hit.
Yeah. What do you think Bouchard is asking him out there? You want to know how he feels, asking the catcher, where's the ball, what's the location?
I'm sure one of the things he's addressing too is, that injury. Is he feeling strong? I mean, when you come back from an injury, he's pitched, thrown a fair amount of pitches, and we're into the 6th inning, so he could be tiring at this point.
Yeah, that's a good point. especially because he has not pitched since the Ferguson game, and he pitched that game like I think it was 6 innings of no hit ball in that game. So he may be tiring a little bit. It's a little more exertion there at pitching than playing third base, because he'll play third when Jeff Jordan is pitching.
5 strikeouts on the afternoon for Mike Taylor. Struck out the side in the 5th inning. 2 away, 2 on. The Warriors leading 3-1. Stretching, or rather pitching from the stretch. He throws this one in the dirt, a good stop.
Jason Harris has just done a tremendous job behind the plate for the Bruins since he's been here. This is not his first year behind the plate.
Ball hit to the right side, over to first for the easy play, 3rd out of the inning. So Russell Ward rounds out second to first. Stranding 2 runners in the inning. 2 base hits.
That was what, the top of the 6th, right?
That was the top of the 6th, exactly. And it still remains 3-1 in favor of the Kecoughtan Warriors. Here you see the last put out of the inning. Russell Ward hitting the ball to the right side of the infield for the easy play, second to first. Coming up for the Bruins as they still trail by 2. And they've only gotten 2 hits, I might add. Will be Jeff Jordan, the second place hitter. Paul London and Mike Taylor will be the scheduled batters for the Bruins here in the bottom half of the 6th.
Tell you, Brett Wheeler's just done an outstanding job for Kecoughtan today, allowing only 2 hits. And I don't know how many runners, Tim, but he couldn't have most 4 runners, I believe. Has he walked anybody?
Well, he's allowed 2 hits, and I believe he's allowed 2 bases on balls. So
yeah.
Let's see here. 3 bases on balls unofficially and 2 hits. So he's allowed 5 base runners. But he has truly been in command, as you said. He's done a real fine job, Mr. Brett Wheeler. Jeff Jordan, who sees some of the youngsters out here.
Yeah, I want to make a quick point. I said that Tim Bertram was pitching for the California A's. He's pitching for their AAA team, not the pro team. So I want to make that point. Doesn't mean he won't be playing for them, but right now he's with their AAA team.
Jordan is 1 for 2 in the afternoon, struck out in the 1st. He singled in the 3rd and yet got caught in a rundown that killed an inning, and it could have been a very big inning, and that I'm sure Roger Bouchard will be haunted by that possibility later on. Ironically, certainly you never know what would have happened, but there were runners at 1st and 2nd at the time, and Paul London at the plate, and London never got a chance to swing with runners on the bases, and the next inning he cracked a single up the middle, so you might have had a run score and you might not have. You know, you never can go back and say what might have happened, but certainly was a crucial rundown situation.
Absolutely.
This one is hit right center field. It's going to be a tough chance. It'll drop in for the base hit. So Jeff Jordan 2 for 3 on the afternoon, singles to right field.
And now we got another chance for Paul London. Paul hit the ball well last time, got a single.
Tying run at the plate. Get a chance to watch the replay. Good swing, good follow through.
Put it right in the gap between center and right. There was no chance for either one of the fielders to get to the ball.
Quick throw over to first. Back in time is Jordan. Nobody out, bottom half of the 6th inning. Bruins trailing the Warriors 3-1, and London rifles the ball to center field for a base hit. The ball was hit so hard and crisp that no further advancement by Jordan, but the Bruins have a threat now. They've got runners on 1st and 2nd with nobody out.
Well, they sure do, and that brings up Mike Taylor, and Mike is batting .500 with people in scoring positions. The team average is .447, so that really gives him a good opportunity so you can watch this nice swing by by Paul London. And
Yeah,
you can watch that. Is
I
just
tell you, the coaches could use that as a good teaching
Oh,
tool
boy,
because
what
that
a-
was just a picture-perfect swing.
kept his eye right down his head level and punched through, and that's first time for Buddy Denton to come out onto the mound to talk with Brett, tried to settle him down 2 quick singles, and brings up a tough little old batter in Mike Taylor. Mike is, what's Mike batting?
Well, Mr. Taylor, find the right batting order lineup here.
He's
See,
no
where
slump.
are you, Mike? Mike Taylor, 370 with 20 RBIs. He's the second leading RBI man on this team. So they got him in the cleanup spot for a reason, and it's not because he's weak, that's for sure. Curveball is low and outside from Wheeler.
Well, we got the tying run on first now, so, and no outs
Nobody
for
out.
the Bruins.
I would imagine Buddy Denton will not allow too many things to transpire before he may consider a pitching change. 2 balls and no strikes, so Wheeler now struggling a little bit as he falls behind Taylor. 2-0, 2 on, nobody out.
Well, he doesn't want to give him anything good either, and hope he will. That's going to drop in there.
Drop in is right. The bases are going to be loaded up as the ball will be brought in very quickly. So the bases are full now. 3 singles from the Bruins as they are giving their message to the Warriors. If you thought you had this one locked up, you can forget that. Richard Sillo will step to the plate. He was a strikeout victim in the second, and he was a pop-up victim to the first baseman in the fourth. So
you can
might
watch
say
that
he's
last
due.
single.
Sillo batting 244, has 9 RBIs. He's got 10 hits in 41 at-bats.
Well, one thing you don't want to do at this point is to hit into a double play. If you can get the ball through the infield, you got a chance of scoring 2 runs, which would tie this game up. So they're looking, the infield's in, they're going to try to knock the ball down.
Outside.
How many walks has Richard had this year? Tim, do you have that statistic?
Well, let's see here. Bases on balls, he has drawn 6 walks. Boy, it's nice to have these statistics. We, again, appreciate the coaches taking the time to
I tell you.
compile these for us. There's no question about it. It helps us immensely.
It sure does. Roger Bouchard and his staff, and of course Randy Shank, his statistician. We appreciate that. And of course Buddy Denton and Mike McCormick gave me tremendous stuff to talk about the players and everything. And that's always nice because we would like to know that these young men do things other than just play ball, that there's a lot of kids out here on both these teams are in the National Honor Society, and you don't get in there because of your good looks.
1 ball, no strikes to count to Sillo. Bases are loaded, nobody out. Wheeler delivers, it's low for ball 2. Could be a double play ball. Over to second for 1, over to first in time. A run scores. Jordan scores, but the Warriors turn the double play.
Well, that's what you didn't want to happen, but if you're going to hit it into the double play, you got to hit it to the right side, which will score the man from third. And of course, we've got here we can watch the double play. Just hit the ball down, was on top of it. But look who's on third, Tim. The last time young Paul London was on third, he scored. He's stealing home, so they've got to be aware of that possibility. They've been the Kecoughtan Warriors.
2 away now, so the complexion changes drastically as Jason Harris steps in. He is 0 for 2, popped up and grounded out.
Think about it, Jason. Think about it.
Man on third, and a 1-run game. Harris takes for a call strike on the inside corner.
That just got the inside corner. He was not too sure of that when he let it come in, but it caught the corner.
3 singles by the Bruins here have created 1 run. This one hit deep to left field, and this ball may be out of here. It is a home run.
Wow. That will give the Bruins the lead.
So Jason Harris, 0 for 2 on the afternoon, got all of that pitch and knocked it over the left field fence for a home run.
Well, you can hear the fans, Tim, there. We've got a tremendous amount of fans here for both Kecoughtan and Bethel, but that's the first time Bethel has had the lead today. They went in the hole in the first inning down 1-0 and have been struggling back ever since. But a big 3-run inning so far and brings up Dane Booker.
Booker, who is 0 for 2, grounded out in the second, struck out in the fifth. The bases are clean now. Jason Harris has put the Bethel Bruins on top 4-3. Booker takes outside for a ball.
And that ball jumped, Tim, I don't know if you saw it when it hit the bat. It looked like it jumped off the bat. I mean, it was gone. And it's the left fielder out there for Kecoughtan, as we have another hit.
Booker singles off of the glove of McFadden at shortstop, but there was no way that was anything but a hit.
Yeah, if he'd have got the ball, he wouldn't have thrown him out. But the Morocco Brown out there in left field just turned and ran, and he got to the fence, and he knew there was no way he was going to get that last one. So we can watch this last hit by Dane Booker.
All of this coming with 2 outs. I say all of this, the home run came with the 2 outs.
Yeah, well, they got the 1 run on the double play, and then
London was on third, and Harris cleaned the bases with a left field home run. Swing and a miss by Chris Gaskell. Gaskell is 0 for 1, struck out in the third and walked in the fifth.
I think he's trying too hard to hit the ball. If he just meet the ball, make contact, he's going to be he's a good hitter. He's a strong looking young man, just a sophomore.
Batting .226. Curveball swung and missed.
He was fooled with that one. That thing was a good 4 inches from the end of his bat that time.
It's been a perfect afternoon for baseball.
Oh,
Temperature
yeah,
in the
it's
70s,
been nice.
low humidity, great crowd on hand. Really have enjoyed this. That one a little high and outside. 2-2 the count. Runner on first. Dane Booker, who singled. Five hits here in the inning for the Bruins. They were held very quietly the first 5 innings. And they've exploded here as Chris Gaskell goes down swinging for the 3rd out of the inning, but not before the Bruins put 5 hits together and a total of 3 runs and take the lead as we go to the top of the 7th. The Bruins 4-3.
If they can shut them down here, Kecoughtan has got to score here. If they don't, that's it. Because Bethel will not bat in the bottom of the 7th if they're ahead. And we right now have a 4-3 ball game. What a great contest this has been. 2 fine pitchers. Wheeler and Taylor both have done a great job for both the teams.
Kecoughtan 3 runs on 8 hits. Bethel 4 runs on 7 hits. The Bruins know full and well that all they have to do is hold Kecoughtan here, which has not been something easy to do.
Well, I tell you, after that home run, I watched Mike Taylor, and he was really pumped up because he can see now I got the win. I've got the runs to make this win. I've got 3 outs, and we can close this one down. So he was really pumped after that home run by young Jason Harris.
The batters due up for Kecoughtan in the 7th. Mike Niamatka, David Denton, and Damon Phillips, the scheduled batters here for the Kecoughtan Warriors.
And you have number 3, 4, and 5 batters, so this is where you expect to get some runs if you're Kecoughtan.
Niamatka just below 300, steps in and swings and misses. Mike's had a sacrifice fly RBI in the first, hit by a pitch in the 3rd, and struck out in the 5th.
All right, Mike, use it all up this inning.
As you might say, he's due.
Yeah, he's due.
Put it on him, put it on him.
Right down the middle, strike 2.
I tell you, Mike Taylor is rearing back, and as you said, he's throwing some heat.
You got work to do today. This one goes fine, Mike. Right, fine. All right,
Hit to the right side. It may drop in. It's going to be a tough chance for somebody, and an excellent play. What a catch.
That's the second baseman, Tim, that got all the way over there for Roger. Yes, Mark Harney.
Mark Harney made a super running catch.
Because that man, I couldn't see where he caught it, where he was in bounds when he caught it. So that would have been a hit.
Yes, it would have. Yes, it definitely would have. Here's your replay. What a super effort. Watch him. I mean, dead on the run. He's got the sun to look into and made it just inside the baseline.
Right. That was what a play by Mark Harney.
David Denton steps in. Denton's first pitch is low for a ball. Denton grounded out in the first, hit into a double play in the third, and struck out in the fifth. So Denton, he too is well due.
Another honor roll student. Really likes to hit.
Denton hitting .340. Got 4 doubles on the season. He's coming into this game, 47 at-bats with 16 base hits. Fouls that one back.
We count that, don't worry. Yeah, the coach saw it.
We hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a real fine ball game. We've seen 2 good baseball games this season. The Hampton-Phoebus game was highly enjoyable. And now this Kecoughtan-Bethel battle, and it has been a battle.
Well, in that game, Tim, the Phoebus-Hampton game, you couldn't pick a winner until the end. I mean, it went down to the wire, and as this one is going.
He's going to wait on this one. He's going to wait on it. All right,
Right side, gobbled up by the second baseman, trying to find a handle. He just can't come up with it. And David Denton will reach on a tough chance for the second baseman, Harney, who just made that spectacular running catch. This time, that ball just gave him fits from the time he started to play it. You know, those are the ones you just hate to say, boy, I got to give him an error on that play. That's a tough chance.
He makes such a great play on that other one that you thought, sure, he's got this one. He just lost a handle on it.
Denton, not the speediest of runners.
But he's a lot faster than he was last year.
Oh, yeah. No, I wasn't knocking his speed, but I mean, he's just not your great runner. He's a big man. And but that, you know, that goes back to what I saw yesterday at my son's game. I got to remind the young fans listening, run everything out. You just never know. This one right down the middle. Especially with the sun and everything, you know, but you just can't take that chance. And
you can't assume that it's going to be a clean play.
No,
it can take a funny hop, or all kinds of things can happen.
yes.
This one a little bit low. 1-1 to count. Fans for Bethel here, of course, trying to make a few of the calls for Mick.
And
there you
so
see our story.
And so was Mike Taylor. He thought that was close enough to be called strike.
Swing and a strike. David Phillips behind on the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 away here in the top half of the 7th. Bethel having taken the lead in the bottom of the 6th. Trying to hold on here. This ball is hit, and that sun is a definite factor on that play. No question about it.
Yes, it really was. We've got a pinch runner down there on at second base for David Denton. I'm trying to pick up his number. And it's probably Patrick Roscoff,
yes,
number 27.
That's who it is.
Because it says here that he is first year on the varsity, and he's used mainly as a pinch runner. So I'm assuming that's who it is. I can't see the number. You got the number?
Yes, that's who it is. That last play, Jeff Jordan just simply had to battle the sun. He couldn't find the ball. That goes back to what I was talking about a minute ago. When the left side of the infield looks for a ground ball or a pop fly, they're looking into a very bright sun. So there's just no sure thing out there. And right now, the Warriors, who have led throughout this game until the bottom of the 6th, have 2 men on. Batter is Steve Smizer. Runners at first and second with 1 away. Mike Taylor trying to complete this game. Throws it outside.
And it was really funny, Tim, because there were 2 hits. The one to the shortstop and the one to the second baseman would normally be routine outs, and that would have taken him out of this inning. which would have won the game for them. So it's never over until it's over, as Yogi Berra used to say.
Ball gets away from the catcher. The runners wanted to move up, but they just can't take a chance because they get picked off, and then you're out of a big inning.
Yeah, really.
You got to be ever so cautious. Second inning, first inning, third inning, you might want to go because it's not so crucial. But right now, you've just got to be sure.
You got a whole team behind you, Mike. You don't have to do it all alone.
Steve Smizer, who is 0 for 2 this afternoon. Hits this one up the middle. This could be the double play ball that Bethel was looking for. They will not get 2. They did get the forced play at second. Did they? Yes, they got the forced
play at second. So it was, and that keeps your force. You still got that forced play at second now. So that brings up Rock Brown, the young ninth grader who is just an outstanding athlete. He has had 2 home runs this year so far. And
just a ninth grader.
look at the size of that young man.
Here's the replay of that last action. Ball just wasn't hit quite sharply enough for the double play. It was a kind of an off-balance type situation, and they weren't able to turn the double play. But, of course, they got that runner at second for the second out. We have runners at the corners, first and third, 2 away, and Rock Brown with the pressure on him. Kecoughtan trailing by 1. Buddy Denton giving some kind of signal to the team. I'm not sure what that is, but it's as if he were showing it, grabbing his face mask. I'm not sure. There's obviously some code for the Bethel Bruins.
Right past him now, Mike. Yes.
Taylor delivers. It's low for a ball.
You talk about a pressure situation. This is a pressure situation regardless, but here you got a young ninth grader up there in a real pressure situation.
Fouled away for a strike, 1-1. Crowd really enjoying this ball game. We hope you at home have.
Well, I tell you, they're missing a great game, a beautiful, this kind of weather that we're having, and it's really made it nice.
Hit to the shortstop, London over to second. Got it for the third out.
And that's why it was important to have that force out at second, Tim. Nice job. Paul London stayed with that ball. That was a hard hit ball by Rock Brown.
So your unofficial line score, the Warriors, who led from the beginning, saw the Bethel Bruins rally in the bottom of the 6th.
Watch this last out.
That was a tough chance. London again battling that sun. The Bruins came up with 5 hits and 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning. And they beat a determined Kecoughtan team. Our hats off to both of these teams. A well-played ball game on both sides of the diamond. Tough game for Mr. Wheeler to lose after playing such a good game.
It would have been a tough loss for either one of the 2 pitchers.
Yep.
Both of those pitchers, I thought, did an excellent job. I was concerned earlier because Bouchard told me about the strained shoulder of the young man Mike Taylor, but I tell you, not only Mike did a great job, I thought Brett Wheeler just did an outstanding job. There was not that many hits. Great play for both teams. It really makes, now this gives Bethel a chance to win or to get to the league championship, Tim, with if something would have happened to Lafayette in the last 2 games.
All right, the final score again, the Bethel Bruins with a rally in the bottom half of the 6th inning come from behind to win 4-3 over the Kecoughtan Warriors. Bethel improves their record to 14-3. The Kecoughtan Warriors fall to 12-5. The final score again, Bethel 4, Kecoughtan 3. For Bob Hintz, this is Tim Cole and the entire crew. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon, everybody.